Hello and thank you for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Zubakum. Today on the program, APC begs voters to vote for party's governorship and assembly candidates on Saturday. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Paul Dada. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. It's not yet relief for bank customers, despite judgment of the Supreme Court of Nigeria on Naira redesign policy. Commercial banks in some parts of the country are yet to start cash payment, leaving customers frustrated. Many banks' customers are still stranded, while payment delay lingers. Jide, after the Supreme Court judgment on Friday, the federal government of Nigeria is yet to make any official statement to be categorical if they are going to adhere by the judgment, or they will start the implementation, or to give directive to the CBN, or the CBN giving directive to commercial banks on what to do next. So there's a communication gap and people are still stranded out there.
I think the CBN actually communicated with banks. They sent a circular out to banks directing them to make over-the-counter payments to customers, in those old notes of 1,500 Naira, whatever. So, but they did not announce. They did not publicly do a press conference, in a manner that every Nigerian can hear them and even calm frayed nerves. But they communicated with banks because my own account officer called me to say, we've been told that we can begin to pay customers in old Naira notes. But the problem does not end there. The problem does not end there. Some banks do not have enough of those old notes anymore. And it's because some moved their old notes after mopping them up from customers. Some moved them to, to their headquarters. So they do not have enough. It will take some time to recirculate what they had mopped up, give them back to customers. Now, even the other problem is that during this period of scarcity, people were just constantly making withdrawals, whether it is 10,000 or 20,000 or 15,000 or 5,000 or 2,000 or 1,000, as one of our staff was paid over the counter. People were not actually depositing. So that has led to paucity of cash or insolvency for a lot of the banks. You get the point I'm making? Because if you are making deposits and some are withdrawing, the money is like being recycled. But a situation in which people are just withdrawing, there's no way that it won't leave the banks drained of cash. Now this decision has come. Maybe some of them were not preparing for this decision of the Supreme Court. This judgment of the Supreme Court came. Some of them don't have enough, and they've come out to say, until the CBN provides some of these old notes, that there's nothing they can do. Or maybe they are from their main branches and their permanent, their headquarters, they can move some more funds. There is no way that we won't suffer this scarcity. That is the reason. But some banks are paying already, especially in northern Nigeria. Some of our people expected this decision. I think in the north, a lot of people believe that this thing will not stand. Maybe because of the way Rufai was even swore to them that, look, I can tell you that this decision will not stand. the new president will reverse it. So some people kept their cash in their houses. They refused to take them to the bank. So those ones have nothing to lose now. They are spending their money. It's legal tender. No one can do anything about that.
Paul, what do you think the federal government is keeping mute?
Well, if
At least the nation is still, people are still going through hardship. You can see the queues in the banks, and you can see that these things are not the way they ought to be.
two things I want to say here. If the people cannot get the cash from the bank, I mean the old notes, because they were not able, they didn't deposit much of the cash with them. It was because of the impediments and the hurdles that the central bank put in their way. A lot of people wanted to deposit, but it was very, very difficult for them to deposit. So many people were, trying to access the banks. At some point, they said, no, they couldn't go to the money deposit bank. They should go to CBN head offices. And there were so many people at the CBN headquarters, even in Lagos here. And then there was this back and forth. It's CBN, it's your bank. So many people were frustrated. They couldn't even deposit. A lot of orders were placed in their way. That's number one. So number two, if CBN could gleefully, with gusto, say that, yes, we, as far as we are concerned, even after the Supreme Court temporary order, as far as we are concerned, we have not said that the hold notes should be used. If they could release statement, if they could debunk a fake or a false statement saying that CBN said those notes could now be released. I don't see any reason why they cannot release a statement now to say we will comply with the Supreme Court judgment. Many people until now. In fact, I would tell you that until I heard from him, I didn't even know there was a statement or there was a directive. There was a directive. So why make this give secret directive to the banks? Why not? Why were you CBN that was grandstanding, in defiance of a Supreme Court order? Now it's now doing it very quietly. Many people don't even know. There are people that are still not accepting the hold note. Many people are not still accepting the hold note as we speak now.
Well, just
but with
filling stations,
exactly,
a lot of
exactly,
traders. Just up to now.
The president that came issued addressed the people, and in a statement.
With time they will accept it.
So why can't he now issue, at least instruct one of your aides, your media aides?
People kept saying that they are waiting for the president to talk. Why should the president
Why should
talk?
we wait for the president?
The Supreme Court has given a directive.
Exactly. No, I agree with you, but
why are they waiting for the president to?
I agree with you, but the way things are
Our
going
people are behaving like if the president
so
doesn't talk, that the country will not be properly run. He doesn't have to talk. The judgment has gone against him. So.
And my question is, why did he have to talk in the first place? Now, if he had to talk, saying that he gave certain instruction to the Central Bank of Nigeria, he should also.
In that one, he wanted to undermine the Supreme Court order. And he has realized now, at least, the judgment of the Supreme Court descended heavily on the president.
Yeah, I saw it.
You can see why he was not excited to talk on this matter. But the CBN must have been given instruction to obey, because Emefiele knows that if he does not obey, he's playing with jail. Now, they've issued a circular to the banks. My own account officer called me around 10 a.m. to say we have received instruction that we should begin to pay. And newspapers are reporting that banks are paying those old notes.
Not all.
That was some banks don't have. Some banks don't have enough of those old notes. That is the truth. Some banks don't have enough. Maybe some of them are taking theirs to the CBN, and they are saying, well, the CBN has to help us by releasing those ones. Now, if they release, and there is still a deadline of 31st, how will they quickly mob those ones back? At what point do they stop releasing?
Now.
At what point do they stop releasing, knowing that our people are usually reluctant to comply in good time? So they put us in a peculiar situation, in a precarious situation.
And after this episode, because the trader on the streets, the medium scale businessman on the streets is just waiting for this to be over with.
Exactly.
Some are, they said maybe it's because of the election and they want the election to come and go so that they can have their lives back. Nigerians are not demanding for too much.
Exactly.
All what they need is just...
Nigerians need to have their life back. Because of this policy, some people have lost their lives. Because of this policy, some businesses have died, especially small-scale businesses. Like you said, Nigerians are not asking for too much. Whatever has happened now was caused by the bad implementation of the policy by CBN, and whatever has happened, CBN should be held responsible for it. That's why I'm even thinking that they should make that their statement public, so let everybody see it. But it's okay if within a few weeks the cash will start flowing again, because whether CBN likes it or not, the old notes remain legal tender till December 31st. And when the Supreme Court has spoken, it is sacrosanct, it is unalterable, there's not anybody can do about it. It is the law, and it stands.
You're saying it is the law, but the body language of the federal government does not look as if they want to respect that law.
They are respecting it already. That's why the CBN issued circular that banks should pay. And banks are paying. The ones who cannot pay is because they don't have enough of those notes, and they don't want people to descend on their premises only for them to not be able to provide the peculiar service that the people wanted. That's why some of them close shop until they are able to restock with those old notes. But the CBN has done the right thing, in my view. The same CBN that was issuing directives to deposit money banks has now directed them to begin to pay. And we are paying. Newspapers are reporting that people are receiving money from the banks in old notes.
The circulation is very slow.
It's going to be, this one was taken late on Friday. It's going to take a while. And another thing is, you are telling people, you are telling them to pay 20,000 across the counter. Again, that is largely because there's not enough. So they want to make as many people as possible happy. Someone cannot come and just simply take 500,000.
Against the judgment of the Supreme Court.
They don't have enough. Those branches do not have enough. Because they collected from people and took to their headquarters.
You know why
that's the source of the problem.
You know why I said
the ones who have, they are giving. Some don't have.
Do you know why it's important for CBN to make a statement, public? Many people who have this cash, with them, don't know that they can now start spending it. Many people are still confused. You understand? What we are saying on this program can help many people to now be aware that CBN has given the directive. Many people don't know that they need to spend it, so they are still keeping it somewhere. We don't even know if some people have gone to have even destroyed the cash in their hands.
Who will destroy?
No, well, we don't know.
Why
but what I'm trying to say is that let people start releasing the money. And the way they can release is when they are aware that there's a compliance. Because there's a record of the authorities defying the Supreme Court, even when there was an order. So people need to be aware that they can now use the hold notes. And the only way they can be aware is for the statement instead to be issued publicly. It will help a lot. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.